Must be real tired today, child.
Oh, you wanted to say that once we went live.
Oh no, well, no. I was trying to catch you. I was trying to catch you before I went live. Hey, Craig.
Hey, Derek. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressors, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Red Stewart.
I'm Derek J. And we are here with another episode of Gay Like Me Conversations. And tonight we are talking about being black, being gay,
or LGBTQ,
and in entertainment.
Absolutely. And I always have a direction that I want to go in.
Yeah. So what is that direction? Because I didn't know. I honestly asked Craig the other day. I was like,
we had lunch. If you're on my Patreon, you saw it.
But this is before we had lunch.
Oh.
I said, I was like, do you really want to do this? Because I didn't really know what the angle was for this. So what is the direction that you have for this conversation?
Well, for me, I really wanted to have this conversation because I want to talk to openly gay or LGBTQ, because one of our panelists is actually trans, and how they navigated their career and how they live unapologetically and how they stand in their truth and move towards their dream, their goal in entertainment. Because, we have a lot of entertainers, some that are still living, some that have passed on, that are living in the closet. But we know you tip through the tulips.
If it's a lady, does she tip through the tulips too?
Men, women, and children tip through the tulips. We know that you tip through the tulips. So, and then there's always this conversation, especially in the Black community, when it comes to Black men, whether or not it would impact their career negatively or not, especially when it comes to singers. A lot of Black male singers say that they can't come out, or actors, because they feel like they can't come out, because if they come out, then they'll be typecast, or people will always assume that they're gay, or they won't be put in a straight role or whatever. But you see white actors do it all the time. You see white.
You need to get that.
No, we see white lesbian. That's my baby calling. But we sometimes see white lesbians and white gay men, like Neil Patrick Harris, the old Doogie Howser, if you will. He's openly gay. And he's been in roles as heterosexual characters, but a lot of times I think that Black LGBTQ people that are closeted often use that as a scapegoat. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not a real thing, because I'm sure that it can be a blocker, but rappers as well. Somebody in the comments said rappers too. So, I'm sure that it can be a hindrance, but I do think that it can be done, and it can be done well, as in the case with Lil Nas X.
Yes. Now, because we do know a lot of people in the industry, we reached out to a lot of people to get them on, have these conversations with us. But the entertainment industry have been down, and now it's back up. And guess what? Everybody's at work. So a lot of our friends that we reached out to were either working or traveling for work or working at time. But hey, it is what it is. But guess what, Craig?
What? I actually was going to say something else, but what were you going to say?
What you about to say?
Don't forget what you were going to say.
No, I'm not. Believe me, I'm not going to forget this. Go ahead.
I feel like you were about to try to pull me together.
No, I'm not going to pull you together. But
okay. But in the case of Lil Nas X, I need to say this little footnote, because a lot of people felt like he's not a good example of someone that came out, because I've had this conversation with gay people, who have felt that he would not have experienced or enjoyed the success that he's enjoyed if he had come out before.
Before,
you know what I'm saying? He came out after the success was there.
Gotcha.
But I still credit him. I do, because you have people like the Luther Vandrosses of the world, and don't be messaging me, because we all knew that he was part of the community. But, who never came out, and so I applaud Lil Nas X, because he came out at the beginning of his career, where a lot of people would have said that that's risky, whatever. But I mean, he could have looked at it like, oh no, this is too soon. This is going to ruin everything for me. But he didn't. He came out.
So what I was about to say was that, we're talking about being Black gay entertainment, and I'm here. Jeez, I mean,
because bitch, you famous.
I didn't want to say nothing, but you said it for me.
but the thing is, and I'm not being funny when I say this. I'm really not being funny when I say this. But
what you about to say, bitch?
Like you said, like this,
right?
Send me the link so I can send it to him. Okay. But no. And I'm really not being funny when I say this.
Go ahead.
But you have been very forthcoming and said, I don't pass as straight. You know what I'm saying? So like,
so you trying to say I don't pass straight?
Well, girl, you said you don't pass as straight. But yeah, I agree.
We're not even talking about that. We're talking about being black, gay, and entertainment.
Correct. But
I have had experience in. So listen, you guys, believe it or not, my first introduction to television was a show called Tears, Shears, and Beauty on BETJ.
Mm-hmm.
That was taped for Good Hair for HBO.
I remember.
Then we went into I went into Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's where I got most of my recognition from. But now coming out of all of that stuff and trying to move into a different direction and do different things, I get the pushback that I'm not gay enough. It's like, oh, where's that sassy guy, the sassy person that he is? I'm like, well, I never was the sassy girl on the thing. And I think I got put into this box of being
like the quick tongue.
Yeah, the quick tongue girl. But I was never that. I never was.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, I felt like I didn't want to be the representation for all gay black people. That was not my goal.
And interestingly enough, a lot of gay people, black gay people, did push you to the forefront because one of the conversations that you and I have had in our friendship, just talking, I asked you one time if you ever felt the pressure of being like the voice or the face for black gay men, and you said, "Well, no, I wasn't trying to be the voice or the face."
But they just try to make you that.
They try to make you that because you're the only demonstration.
But I wasn't.
Well, but at that time, there was nobody else tiptoeing around in heels and purses.
Well, our first,
I see Jamal down there. Hey, Jamal. No. I need to rest on this for a moment.
Okay, let's rest on this. Yes.
Listen, because I said this before, and you said, "Well, no, I'm not going to take credit for that." But I really do think that you kind of laid the foundation. You laid the road for the young black gays that are walking around with purses and heels. This is your elder. You need to pay homage to this lady right here.
Elder is such a word for you. I might be your inspiration. I'm not your elder.
Yeah, this is your inspiration right here. This lady was walking around in heels and things when you all were in middle school.
I was in middle school too.
Oh, okay. Let's bring out our first guest. Girl, you were doing it like that in Toledo, Ohio?
No. I mean, I was still young. I was in my 20s.
I thought you told me you used to wear sneakers and stuff.
No, I did. I didn't wear my first pair of heels. I was 25.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the young
middle school, bitch. That's middle school, ho.
Bring our first guest on.
Girl, you want to make me old like you so bad. Golly. So we reached out to all forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
And our first guest that we have is
Jamal Sims.
Oh no, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, child. Listen, we talk about the election.
It's election notices.
It's election notices going on, child.
Election notifications.
I hope so. Yes, please, y'all, let us know what's going on, honey. What's happening?
Because we do want to know.
But yes, Jamal, we reached out to all forms of entertainment. Our first guest is Jamal Sims, who is an amazing choreographer.
Yes.
And director. And you know what the crazy thing about it is that before I started working in film, I didn't even know that this existed.
Right.
I didn't even know that you could have a life doing this. I know you could have a job. I didn't know this was a thing.
That this could be your career.
This could be a career. And he has made it his career. So,
and part of the reason that we reached out to Jamal is because oftentimes, not just in the LGBTQ community, but even the outside, the general public, oftentimes they only see us as hairstylists, makeup artists, interior designers, but he's a choreographer and he created a career and a life for himself doing that.
Yes. So let's welcome Jamal.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, Jamal?
This is crazy. This is the first time I'm using the headset, so yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Where you been? How you just not using those?
Well, on the Zoom calls, you don't need them.
Oh, that's true.
This is something new. So I was like, "It's some new shit. Let me put this on."
Right.
Yeah. How y'all doing?
How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Thank you for taking time out your schedule to be able to chit chat with us about this conversation. Because I know you are a busy man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I'm a big fan of this show, though. I love
thank you.
Yeah, I love.
We're trying to bring it to TV or some major streaming service.
No,
we don't want to just be on YouTube.
Put in the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's how it happens. This is where it starts, and then it gets, you know what I mean? Yeah, grow it.
But Jamal, before we start asking you questions, would you kind of share with the viewers, like, what are some of the projects that you've worked on?
Yeah. So I started out as a dancer. So that was the first thing. And it's funny that y'all were talking about how you didn't know that there was a career in choreography, right? I didn't know it either. So I'm my first job, my first audition was Michael Jackson, Remember the Time. So that was right out of high school. But of course, in high school, they didn't tell you. I was making up dances in high school, but they didn't say, at career day that there was a job for, there was doctors there was lawyers there. There was nothing that said choreographer, So the things I was just talking about, like, I'm just making up steps. So when I did Remember the Time was the first time Fatima Robinson was the choreographer. And so she hired me for that job. And I was like, wait, she's getting paid to do the steps. You know what I mean? That's when I finally made the connection. So it's funny that not too many people know. I mean, especially back then, it's more in the forefront now that the choreographers that have a career in film, videos, all that commercials. But yeah, so that was my first job as a dancer. And then as a choreographer, I went on to do Usher's You Make Me Wanna music video, directed by Billy Woodruff, who's a really good friend of mine. But we had just met at the time, and he brought us on, came and choreographed the video. And then that kind of just created that's where the career started. So there was music videos, and then into commercials, into film. And that's where I've been for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna jump right to the nitty gritty of things. Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So being a Black gay man in that industry, did you lead? I don't want to say lead with that, but was that did you have to make it known that you were Black and gay, or did you want to did you just want to be a Black man that was a dancer?
Or was there a time that you ever felt like you needed to hide that?
For sure. In the late 90s, early 2000, didn't talk about it. Wasn't, I just wanted to lead with my talent. I didn't want, obviously I was a Black man, but I didn't want my sexuality. And actually I wasn't comfortable with my sexuality at that time when I first started. But as soon as I got into the dance world, that all went away, right?
Because there's so many of us. There are so many of us in the dance world.
Yeah. So, but then, but still, I didn't want it to affect my business, because I was told by other choreographers, Black choreographers, that, you don't tell people your business, and because that can cut your money short, But for some reason in the back of my head, I was like, I just didn't feel like that was going to be my path. I felt like people could kind of feel that I wasn't being authentic. You know what I mean? Like they sensed it, because I would do a couple of jobs and then all of a sudden I wouldn't do the jobs anymore. And I felt like maybe if I was more authentic up front, they would know who I was, and we would have probably had a better relationship. You know what I mean? Especially the male artists that I worked with, because all the male artists they didn't want you around if you had any kind of gayism or gay rumors around you, right? Because then it would lead to them, and then that's not what they wanted. So, so it was in the beginning. Then I was like, forget this. I'm gonna go ahead and just do me. And when I just started being myself, that's when work really started picking up. And that's when I started, you know what I mean? That's when I was getting the big jobs, the hairsprays, the, step ups, all that stuff started happening once I was really authentically me. And I was always authentic, but I guess just being who I am and not being afraid of who I was, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the turning point for you to stand in your truth, if you will? Like, what was there something that happened that made you say, you know what?
Yeah, there was. I went through a breakup because I was with my first part. Yeah, I would do it. My first relationship I got into right when I started dancing, and so we were together for a while. But when we broke up, I was like, I don't really want to have to hide this anymore because I don't know that he wasn't comfortable, and I was like, I don't really want to have it. Once I told my mom and dad, I didn't care about anybody at this.
That's the way it works. Uh-oh.
And it did. Oh, there we go. But it didn't. My money went up.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to ask you, have you found it to be difficult being in entertainment or being recognized? Because those who know you know you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And dating, is it hard for you to balance that and dating and?
No. I'm a relationship kind of person, so I don't really date a lot. Like, it's usually just like, I find somebody and we hang out, and usually that's it. Yeah, that's it. So I'm more of like a serial relationship person.
Mm-hmm.
I like to have somebody with me.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, so I don't.
So can we have an open conversation here?
Please, yes.
Okay, cool. So we know you in this. We know that I didn't know who you were until you got married on the Grammys. Like, and I was like, wait, what is happening here? Who is this? So what made you decide to do something like that so huge? Because it's not, because it really puts it, because I was one of the few Black people over there. So it really puts you in the forefront of that. And it was like, what made you want to make that decision to even do something like that?
Well, they had overturned the Marriage Act, the DACA proposition. So we decided to. At that point, we knew that we were going to do it, and so we had discussed it that day when it got overturned. But in December, we got an email from one of our friends in the business who was producing that segment at the Grammys. And he was like, hey, I heard you guys were going to get married. We have this big opportunity. We can't tell you what it is. We can't tell you who's going to marry you, but it's going to be in front of everybody and it's going to be a big thing. And we felt at first, we were like, we kind of wanted to be to ourselves, but we went to a wedding the same day we got the email, and there was so much love, and like everybody was like, it just felt like this was a sign for us to. We left the wedding, we were like, we got to do it on TV. We just got to do it, because if we had representation when we were younger, to see Black men getting married on television, I'm sure it would have been a lot less stressful for me to be like, dang, am I ever going to get married? Or is that going to be, so a lot of times it's just about representation, just seeing it, and that was the decision. That was when we decided to do it.
Which is a huge part of the reason that I wanted to do this conversation, this representation that you're talking about, because it's no secret that LGBTQ people are often very creative, right?
For sure. Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, just like young Black boys are often pushed towards sports, LGBTQ people sometimes think that they have to go into hair, makeup, and that stuff that we talked about before. But like choreography is a different side of the industry. You know what I'm saying? And so it's also because, like, for example, like my partner, he's an assistant art director and he designs sets, and then somebody comes in and builds it. But he just kind of fell into that. Like he wasn't looking to do that. And I think a lot of times, like, especially our kids, period, they may be artistically inclined, but they may not know how to harness it and how to really kind of direct it.
That's right. Yeah. I thought I was going to be a singer. That's what I wanted to do. So I didn't know. No, dancing and choreography was not on my path, and so I had a group together. We were like the New Edition when I was 13, 14. We got a record deal, everything. So I thought that was going to be my path, but really, I I was choreographing the group. That's what I was doing. And that was my training ground prior to when we lost our deal and everything went away. I felt, well, I can still dance. At least I can still do that, you know? And I couldn't sing. I was one of the ones that was doing the ooh-bop bops in the back, you know? So I think it takes a lot of us time to really figure out our paths. It's not always so clear and upfront. We may think we want to do one thing, but we might think we want to do hair, but we might end up doing art direction, or we might end up being directors and having a bigger vision for the project. So, and even me, I went from dancer to choreographer to now directing films. And that's like something that I didn't think I was going to be doing in the beginning, if that makes sense. So it all kind of evolves and changes, and yeah, but we're lucky.
So I'm trying to figure out the best way to because I talked to Craig about asking you this question, and I gotta figure out the right way to put the right words to put it in. So if it comes out wrong, it just know where I'm coming from. Okay,
I got you. I
like where this is about to go.
Come on, Derek.
So I know you to be, you a choreographer. You did the marriage thing, and there was all this black love. Yeah. You're successful. You're doing different things. You're doing more successful. But, recently we ain't seen no black love. We seen some swirly love. So, so my question is,
and it's his question.
Let's
go. I'm ready.
Yes. So my question is this black, but we see this for black men, gay or straight. Yeah. That as things get to a pinnacle for them,
the higher you climb,
the lighter they get.
Right.
So now, did you feel pressures in that, or is it just something that just kind of happened, or is it a conscious decision you made at this point in your life?
Well, first, let me just get it all the way straight. So, my boyfriend now is black. He's half black, half white. His dad is a chocolate man. His mom is white. So, I don't really consider him white. They always say,
please don't either.
He's black to me, you know. He just happens to be, very light. But it's never been a thing of light or dark with me. It's been about who I fall in love with. And even if it was a white man, for me, I don't choose. I don't go after one particular thing. If I fall in love with your soul or your spirit, or that's just what happens. So I do find that I'm attracted to black men. You know what I mean? That is the thing. And
no, that's what I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and but I don't knock if they are. If they're not, then I have a lot of white people in my family, outside, but it just wasn't, that wasn't what I was, doing. But
in the industry, you do see where where it gets to that. Have you ever felt that you have too much blackness for it? Seeing two black successful men together, that might be too much for the industry that you're in. Have you ever felt those type of pressures?
No, I don't deal with all that, because if you're talented, you're talented. They'll want you if you marry a black, white. It doesn't matter. If the talent's there, I honestly don't care what other people think. I've never really done that. I've always just, if I love it, cool. And our thing is, it's so funny because it's supposed to be love is love, right? Like love is love. It doesn't matter who, what, shape, tall, fat, skinny. That's really what I believe. And so I'm just, that's how I live my life. But if you like them, I love them. And I think that is really what we should be pushing out there. But I am proud to have a black boyfriend as well. You know what I mean? So we walk into place, I don't feel pressure that he's black. Like, good, it's great.
So here's my question: has there ever been a period, as your career has, soared, have you ever felt challenges with finding a compatible black partner? Because I will be the first to tell you, I'm black as fuck as they come. Like, you know, and I want to be with a black man. I love black people. I'm all about black. But there have been instances, and I'm partnered now, but I've been single for 9 years prior to that.
Yeah.
And one of my challenges was finding a black man who wasn't intimidated by my ambition.
Yeah.
Who wasn't intimidated by my education or my the fact that I'm well traveled, or like all of those things that make you who you are.
So
no.
Okay, you ain't that great now. Calm that down.
I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like
you said it like that.
Listen,
go ahead.
Yeah. The comments, you picking up what I'm. Listen, the people picking up what I'm putting down,
girl.
Because it's not just me as a black man. I'm sure my black women who are successful have experienced similar things, because I really do believe that one of the biggest common denominators between black gay men and black women is that we love and date black men. And we have some of the similar challenges, similar heartbreaks, similar disappointments, you know, all of those things. So for me, there was a moment in time where I was starting to get frustrated. And I mean, I'm not attracted to white men in that way. No offense to those of you that may be watching. But you know, I was like, well, shit, something's got to give. Like, I'm gonna have to figure something to fuck out. It's like I just kept coming to the same impasse with black, or it was the situation of. Well, let me just say this last thing, then I'm gonna let you answer. Or it was a situation where they weren't comfortable in their skin, so that was an issue too.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, you know, this is the thing. So I have only really been single. So my divorce was finalized this year in March, and then 3 months later, well, actually, we had been separated for a couple of years. So then the divorce was finalized. But, you know, so this was the longest period that I had been single, but we were also in quarantine. So, you know, it really wasn't much, you know. But the most important thing for me, if you strip away what we all do for a living or who we are, like, do we connect as people, right? Because if we connect as people, if you have goals, if you're hardworking, if you wake up and you're truthful and all those things, that's really what matters to me, because you could be maybe not as successful, but have so much determination that's attractive to me. It's also equally as attractive if you have a business and you're running your own stuff. You know, I think that those, although one has more money than the other, it can kind of level out at some point. You know what I mean? I just don't want anybody that actually doesn't really want to have passion about anything. Like that's just kind of like, I just want to sit on the couch and smoke weed all day. That I'm not into that. That's not who I am. And that's not who I expect my partner to be. So I think that if we think about it like that, that's how you can figure out if you want to have him or her as a partner. Because what will happen is if you accept that, you know, sitting on the couch because they cute, and that's going to wear off real quick. And you'll find that you're spending money, you know, now you're spending to eat for two instead of one, and it just gets old really quick, you know? So that's the truth, you know? But if you're a hard worker and you don't have a lot of money, but you see where he's going, I can help support that, you know? Yeah.
My last question for you is, what advice would you, because you're on the other side of things, like meaning, you know, I know a lot of choreographers, you know, but they stay really in this black realm. And it's just it's in the music video realm,
black music video,
black music video realm. I mean, the only person that like Sean Bankhead kind of busted into the TV film part of it, but you're like on this other, you're on this other space, like, you know. So what advice would you give somebody to try to get to that next level? Of any of their career.
Well, first let me say, like, you know, that black video world was my base. That's where I started as well. You know what I mean? So that was my training ground. So I always say, if you can get in that world, because there's a lot of people that can't get in that world, so that's a good place to start, right? But what I started to do immediately was trying to figure out how I could, go into commercials, which that wasn't really like a black or white thing. It was just you're advertising a product, so it didn't feel like you had to be a black or a white choreographer. Anybody could choreograph. If you're good, you could do a product, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I found myself in commercial world, and what happened was in that world, there's a lot of directors who also do film. So once the commercial world was in, then I made that switch over into film, which was a lot. That's that transition sometimes for people is hard, but it just happened to go a little bit smoothly, a little more smoothly for me because I was in that world. Does that make sense? So I would just say, I would just say try to venture out. Like, don't get comfortable in just doing music videos, because I always knew that wasn't going to be enough for me. And I always felt like I need to be shooting these music videos. I need to be, because the dancing would come back and it would be all chopped up, and the beginning would be at the end and the end would be at the beginning, and it just didn't tell the story. So that's why I was just grateful when I got to do movies, that I was able to tell stories, you know what I mean? And really have character building. It was just funner. Funner. It was just more enjoyable for me.
And I'm guessing that you probably have an agent. So
I do.
At what point in your career did you know it was time to get an agent, and and how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, well, so I didn't have an agent when I did Michael Jackson, Remember the Time. And everybody was like, I was coming off the street. It was in the newspaper. I read about it in the newspaper, but everybody had agents. But what happened was, because I got the job, the agents came. They were calling me. So that's what I always want to tell dancers and young artists. Like, you don't go out looking for an agent. You go get the job. They'll come because they see money there, right? So that's always the trick. Is like, I think people always think, I got to get a manager before I do anything. No, find out where it is, go get the job, and then they'll come to you.
Someone said that to me years ago. She was like, you never have to go and look for an agent will find you.
They will, absolutely.
People always ask me about, when should I get a manager? I say, hell, you ain't got shit to manage. What the hell?
You phone calls for yourself.
Right. Like, what are we managing here?
You can't send that little email.
Yeah, I think that's always like that when people say that, I say, that's fear talking, right? That's just saying, I'm just waiting for a manager. No. That's saying I'm just scared to do it myself, because you really don't need anybody to go out and book a job. You could walk into the place and say, I'm the one, I'm the guy. This is and 9 times out of 10 it works if you're confident enough.
Jamal, I want to say, first of all, thank you for taking the time out to talk to us.
Yeah.
Derek, thank you.
For you. And being able to show all of your blackness in a different light. And and be able to let people know. Like, we was looking at the comments, people was like, I never knew he was gay. I won't, but thank you. But I want to say thank you so much. Me and Craig really appreciate it.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna get your information from Craig, because I sent Craig a script that he never read, but since you over there directing stuff, I'm gonna send it to you. It's a short.
Please.
We can make something happen, okay?
Let's do it. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Thank you.
All right, keep doing the thing. All right, Craig. See you guys.
All right.
Say something, Craig.
Oh, I was just trying to figure out. So anyway, listen, we have our next guest ready.
So, well, you go ahead. You introduce.
It's my girl. And we've been working together now for 3 years. I'll tell you guys briefly how we met.
And say all the stuff you be saying about her when she not on
she knows she's a narcissist, but oh my god. But yeah, so 3 years ago, we met because I sent her a message on Facebook. I don't even think I've ever shared with you this story, but I sent Madison a message on Facebook because I used to see her come across my timeline on Facebook, Instagram, and I didn't know, I never knew who she was, right? But I would always see her talking, and she was always talking about she's at the Marvelous Chateau, and I'm like, who is this person? And so I ended up emailing her on Facebook. This was during the time when she was still read her messages on Facebook.
Mhm.
Don't try it now because she ain't really reading those messages now. But I emailed her and I said, hey, it seems like you and I have very similar messages, because I would also see messages or videos from her where she's talking about trans rights and gay issues and this, that, and the third. And I said, I really feel like we have very similar common ideas about the community. I said, but I think we go about it a different way. And I said, I really would love to send you a copy of my first book. She sent me her P.O. box. I never sent the book. A year later, a whole year later, I emailed her again because she was coming across my timeline again. And I said to her, I messaged her again and I said, I never sent you the book. And I said, but I really want to send you the book. So this time I actually sent her the book. And I said, but I really want, at this time I had started my podcast, so much to say. I said, I really want to bring you on my podcast. And I said, would you agree to come? She said, yeah, I'll come. She connected with her manager and he coordinated it. And she came to my place and we did the podcast. And that day was the first day that I ever met her. We did a podcast. I was still eating meat at the time. I had made a pasta. She ate pasta with me. We had wine. And then about a month later, that was the very first day that I ever went live.
Craig, wrap this up, Craig.
Hold on, they enjoying this.
No, they're not.
This was the very first time that I had went live. And she was really teaching me in that moment, the first time I met her, how to go live, how to use my personality to monetize my business and all of that. And then about a month later, she called me and said, hey, I want to set up a podcast for the Queen's Court. At the time, it was called the Queen's Court. And I set it up. And then from there, I've been working with her and we've been making shit happen. So this is my girl, the TS.
Yo, the narcissist. That's what I'll be called in 2021. Hello, Craig. Hey, Derek. Hey, how you doing?
So wait, so Craig told this long story to tell me to say he was your groupie. So that's all the story boiled down to.
No, to be honest with you, Derek, Craig is a good Judy. Craig ended up becoming one of my good Judies, you know. We've been through ups and downs. We've cat fought and honey, you know, we've thrown glasses at each other behind the scenes, but the world will never know it. Well, I don't know when they'll know it, but they might know one of these days. You know, and Craig is definitely an integral part to the way that we're doing things now. You know, Craig came up with the suggestion of really pushing me to take the show on the road. He was pushing me to do it. You know, I had ideas about it, but he was pushing me like, man, I said, I've done this before. I've done this stuff with my play. You can do this. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it, but that's not my focus. I'm trying to get the show together. You know, and it's just really a situation where you have to, you can't know everything. You don't know it all. Sometimes you do need a word from the outside, you know, and a lot of people run into failures because they always know it all and they never listen to a word from the outside, you know. So Craig has definitely came in and we instantly had a friendship. We instantly had a friendship connection from the door, Derek. From the door, we had a connection. Like when I opened the door, I was mad as fuck, and I was like, "Bitch, if Gio didn't tell me how to get over here and communicate with you, I was definitely not going anywhere near here. I was turning around and getting back in an Uber because I'm a girl. I don't drive to the city. I get in an Uber car." And I had Ubered over there. Didn't I, Craig?
Yeah, you did. You Ubered to the house and he was having, or you guys were having trouble getting into the building, the gate and all that other stuff. And she was about to leave. And I walked out of the building. I said, no, it's right here. And so she came in, we did the podcast. And after we podcast, we ended up talking for like an hour. And I really do believe that was when we first started laying the framework for a friendship and a business relationship.
Well, because
I taught me so much.
Well, because I did see you as a black man, and you know, listen. One thing about me. Oh no!
We got that house phone right there.
One thing about me showing you how to get a bag ain't gonna stop me from getting a bag, and I think that's what people. Oh my God! Hello. Hey. I'm okay.
While she's doing that, let me just say this. But yeah, so she came And she told me, and I really do think that was the beginning of how our friendship began, how our business began, how our business relationship began. But like she was saying, like we have, fought behind the scenes like Beowulf and Grendel, but it's always over creative stuff.
Wait a minute, who's Grendel and who's Beowulf? Because I'm always triumphant.
Right.
So, wait. This is not about the Craig and Maddie show.
No, it's not.
Okay, so
what I'm doing is I'm definitely leading up to what it's about being Black, gay, and entertainment. Because
Craig and I talk about himself, though, man.
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about her.
Well, go ahead.
And so,
but I'm the narcissist here. Okay, I got it. But I will say this: that I walked in the door and I saw Craig as a man who, who had a dream and who, just needed a little push. And I knew how to make money on the internet. That's been one of the things that I've always known how to do is monetize my presence on the internet, whether it's a click, a view, $1 or $2. You understand what I'm saying? And so it was nothing for me to show Craig, say, hey, you see this little button right here? You press this in the middle of your conversation. And it was that. And then we laughed and we talked. We got on Jack together. He doesn't do those things anymore. We don't have those fun times anymore, Derek. I can't have a man at home waiting on her. So
He's got a man, baby.
Now, Madison. Let's talk about when Madison got thrown into the forefront of entertainment.
Oh,
where when Madison became, one, I want to know why do you keep T.S. Madison? Why is it not just Madison Hinton?
Well, I keep T.S. Madison because, like Anna Mae Bullock said, I earned the name. I earned that name. I fought tooth and nail for that name. I've almost lost my life on the count of the TS. And many people have asked me, why don't you? And by the way, I've trademarked it. So you girls that are TSs, get ready.
You better trademark TS.
Get ready, because there was a time when nobody wanted to be TS. Everybody was this and that, And I know I'm a trendsetter, regardless if people want to sit on their hands for me or not, because there are a lot of girls who's like, oh, I'm not TS this. Now I'm seeing everybody TS this and TS that. I'm like, oh, really? Well, just yesterday you was like, so I get it. I understand. Don't worry. I'll be coming through. You'll be removing the TS soon. or you'll be paying me for this. You'll be paying me for that. But we can do this the easy way or the hard way. But I worked for that, and I honestly, I struggled with that for a second. Like, well, damn, should I? But now everybody, it's just like a household situation. Like, there's almost no straight, gay, or lesbian person that don't know TS, black or white. And if they do not, all they have to do is say, Alexa, who is T.S. Madison?
T.S. Madison, also known as Maddie, is an American entertainer, entrepreneur, and LGBT activist.
Thank you.
By the way, you have one new notification. When you see the
I'll check that later. Thank you. Alexa, thank you.
All right, Miss Alexa, but I know who T.S. Madison is.
Right, that's correct. Well, you can do that in your own home. It's not programmed in the house. That can happen all across America and outside of the United States if you ask Alexa. And that means I've put in time and I've put in effort and stuff like that to propel myself. Like, listen, nobody gave me nothing. I worked, and I didn't come in the business or come in the door in the social media realm by oh, you said I made your Alexa talk? Yes, right. So I when I walked in the door, I didn't come in. I wasn't clawing at anybody's neck. I wasn't trying to climb up on anybody's coattail. I was only in this business to promote what I was selling at the time. And at the time, I was selling a sex product, and the sex product was the TS. And I fortunately got tossed into mainstream social media. Like I was talking to you about a Derek J on New York thing before. I got tossed into it by accident. And because I was just there trying to promote what I was working on at the time, which was adult film. And here's another reason why I don't drop the TS, because I need people to understand that I am not a genetic female. I am a trans woman, trans-woman. So that's what that is, transsexual Madison. Okay. So I want you to know that, that you have the ability to succeed and not be genetically, because there are lots of times that we trans women, get into these little confrontations where people were like, well, you want to be me, and you know what I'm saying? No, I want to be me, and I'm going to win in being me. And I'm okay with being a trans woman. I'm okay with being different from you and everybody else. So I'm the TS. And
well, jumping into the mainstream world, did you find it difficult, or did you find it difficult because of your past? Did people try to put that against you? Did people try to use that against you, or did you see that people kind of glossed over that part?
Well, in the beginning, prior to the new age of COVID and things, yes, people were they were holding me a prisoner to my past, and they were holding me a prisoner to that because they had never seen a Black trans woman be triumphant in that business. They've only seen us as workers, sex workers, and we work for the man. I came in there and let them know, no, the man works for me. Here, this Black skin that you see right here is powerful. This Black mind is powerful, and everybody may not understand it, but it's $1 billion business. I was coming to get my piece. I was not ashamed about any of the situation. I did what I did, and here's the thing: I gracefully left as a queen. I'm not out there in that world fighting over which I'm going to do my next video. And here's the thing: I used to set time frames in my life with that. Like I would say, hey, I'm not working on this block anymore. That's it for me. By this time of next year, I'm done. And the same thing when I got into. Hold on a second. We have a.
Is that Miss Mary?
Yes. I'm sorry, she didn't mean it. No.
I didn't think so.
I know.
Nobody can control coffee.
I know.
Nobody can control coffee.
Well, like I said, I had set time frames on when I was going to do and how I was going to do it. And here's what I've learned in my life. I've learned that I never know when, I just know. And I said to myself, I'm no longer going to be involved in the adult entertainment world. And that was like 2014. That's probably the last time I did a video was 2014 that I actually did a sex video. And I was like, that's it. That's it for me. I'm done. Everybody else is doing it, but I paved the lane for those girls who are in that industry to follow. So now there might be a sex worker girl out there, or a girl who has an adult film site or this and other, who's going to get hope from me, who, pushed her way through when people were telling her, oh, you can't, girl, that's trash coming in. Well, the trash pushed her way right on through. Y'all closed the door. I came in through the window. Y'all locked the window. I came in up under the crack. Y'all sealed the crack. I bust a hole in the wall and came through. And that's just the way it was going to happen, because I was destined to do what God called me to do.
And I think what's really remarkable about your story is that most people, and you've probably heard people say this, well, I just need somebody to give me a shot, or if I just had this, or if I had, that, you have everything that you need to do whatever it is that you want to do. And you are an example of that. It's like you took your camera, you did what you did.
And this is the thing, I didn't come in the door like a lot. I see a lot of people come in the door needing something to put them on, like, I need to beef with somebody. Right. I need to read somebody. I need to attack somebody. That was never my thing. My thing was, girl, is it on, honey? Is this thing recording? Child, let me tell y'all what happened to me at the grocery store, girl. It was just me talking about what was going on in my life, or telling, whatever happened on set when I was having sex or whatever. I didn't know that people was gonna find that interesting. I just needed, hold on a second. We're having dishes washed at the moment. I just needed an outlet to come come to the internet and tell people what was going on in my life and in my day. I never was there trying to claw at somebody, stab at somebody, or climb on the back. That's right. I created my own lane. I talked about what was going on in my own world, you know, and whether people wanted to listen or not, I didn't know that I was educating people. I gained lots of women subscribers and women followers because I was talking about my experiences with men. Mm-hmm. And then they trickled their stuff over to bigdickbitch.com, which is still loud, live, and in color today.
Where did they go?
They trickled over to bigdickbitch.com. Still loud, live, and in color today, honey. You can see those movies from back in the day if you choose. If you're not, you know, I'm not taking that stuff down because I earned that. Those are that's called residual income.
Passive income.
And Craig, I've logged in for you a time or two. You've seen that the blood still works.
Yeah, the blood still works. And in fact, that was the first time I saw, because like I said in the beginning, I didn't know anything about the porn or anything. I didn't see any of that stuff until she and I started working on the Queen Supreme Court. She said, let me show you. It's still up. And that was the first time I had ever.
I showed you that and I told you, you know, because you was like, well, girl, where you getting money? I'm like, I get money from all places. Anything that has my name attached to it, I shall be paid for that.
Right.
You know, and it was difficult for me at first, Derek, because, you know, people look at that and they don't look at you as a human being. They look at you as trash because, you know, they feel like, oh, you've had sex with all these people or you got on tape or whatever. And my thing is, how could you look down your nose at someone when you swallow dick backwards and no one's paying you for that, girl, but yet you're out, you know, trying to figure out how your next meal is coming or where your lights are. You know, you look bad out here struggling, girl, and I'm not. But that was a whole nother case. Mm-hmm. I have to say this because I don't want to ramble on because I know y'all got other guests lined up. I have to say this. It was actually you, Miss Lawrence and Bevy Smith, who took one of my catchphrases and actually televised it. Mm-hmm. In one of the biggest spots on national TV. Y'all was like,
Bevy was infatuated with you, honey. Bevy Smith loves some Madison, honey.
Yes, because Bevy Smith saw a lot of, she says that I'm voluptuous, a big, beautiful black woman, and she saw a lot of herself in me, like, cause we both loud, live, in color. Mm-hmm. And it was y'all are the ones that set me into, because you said, yes, they were like, shots out of T.S. Madison, new weave, 22 inches. And after that, you know, my t-shirts were selling, Vine was, you know, stuff. RuPaul was reaching out to me. Like, there's a lot of things was going on in my life at the time. And I will tell anybody out there that is watching, you got to trust the process and you just got to wait on time.
That's it.
You might think that you're a star on Friday, but your star may not really blossom until 15 Fridays from now.
What do you think the process is? I understand what that is. I remember hearing that.
But I think the process is different for everybody.
It's different for everybody, but what would you say that it is?
Faith.
Well, the process for me is knowing. And that is an act of faith. Like, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know.
And see, for me, the process is everything happens when and as it should. And it's just about being adaptable. It's just about the things that you foresee as a setback. It's not a setback. It's all designed to propel you forward.
But the thing about it is, Craig, if you've seen the vision,
yes,
nothing can change what you saw.
Because if God gave you the imagination to see it, it's bound to happen. He wouldn't give you the vision if it couldn't happen. Mm-hmm. Your imagination is proof of what's possible.
I might have seen it in fragments. I might have seen it in pieces. I might have seen it in spots, but I saw it, you know, and I knew that it was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen on this space. I didn't know that me being naked was going to be a part of my story. I didn't know that now the process is I can tell the stories of how mainstream stuff tried to shut me out, but had no other alternative but to allow me in, because there was no one uniquely built like me. And that is a story that is a lot of people's story. However, I persevered through the no's. You understand what I'm saying? No. All you need is one yes. And then that one yes that you receive, your story could change millions and millions of lives.
Now, you said earlier that you got a lot of women following, right?
Yes.
Now, what was the response from the Black gay community? Because I know, like for me, the Black gay community, they say they check for you, but they don't really check for me like that.
Well, my initial meeting of the Black gay community, I was met with I'm just not getting in a good place with it. I was viciously met with trash and who is that, and they found me funny, but because you want me to go there?
No, go there. That's what I'm asking you. I need you to go there.
Well, because I came in as loud, live, and in color and naked on my background and stuff like that, and I was not struggling, and I was not a bum, and I was not something that they can give handouts and stuff to. I became like, oh, who is that? Oh, there's no way possible that she could live like, oh, this is cheap. They began to try to underwhelm all of the achievements and the accomplishments that I've made when in all actuality, there was no way possible that they could have made it through the situation that I made it through, because not only when I was over there in the adult entertainment business, I was a boss over there. Like all the decisions had to be made through me. And if you get over there into that type of situation, some people end up only being actors and actresses and never owning their masters, never having the rights to, and their pictures and photographs and videos are spread all over the internet, and they're struggling now. That's not the case with the TS, and it never will be. Because I understood about ownership and taking ownership of your things and making sure that, girl, at the end of the day, that the check comes in your name. So that was my initial thing, and then when they saw me being embraced,
they started to come back around, huh?
They saw me being embraced, by the white people and the straight people, not just white, but white, gay, and straight people. Then I became a cooning for the white people and Uncle Tom and all those. All I do is, the white butch queens is, it's like I used to sit and listen to some of these reads, and I'm like, girl, you really have no idea. You people have no idea, how any of this business stuff works. You have no idea at all. None. And it's just, whatever. Then it became like, well, they getting all these, the rooms are packed when she come into those white places. I wonder, could she do it with those Black people? Then had to go, well, let me give you this little booking. My first booking building was packed out. They was like, oh, they do like her, but it was packed out with what? Straight people. Straight people, men and women were coming to see me, because my audience was, when I opened up my camera, I spoke to people from this place. I didn't speak to anybody from a superficial place. I didn't speak to anybody from a place of, well, I'm a woman and I'm a trans woman. And I spoke to them like, girl, my day is going fucked up. I came to them as human, and I made the people see me as a human being.
So my because I think I get, like, for me, and I guess, like, talking to you before and knowing that your own community don't really check for you like this, but you unapologetically Black, and it's like, I'm out here trying to fight for you to do better and get to this next step, and then yet you still don't fuck with me. Like, how does that? How does this even work?
Well, it makes you feel like, we have this thing in our own community where we're extremely jealous. We're extremely jealous of each other, and it's because we would love to see it. We'd love to see. Sometimes you can see yourself so much in somebody, and it's not happening for you. The jealousy builds up there, like, well, girl, I did it, and I secretly did it, or I thought about it, or whatever. My friend, and it did work for her. She lying. There's no way. You ain't better than me. I never said I was better than you. I never felt I was better. Those are your thoughts. You hate me.
you put this in the atmosphere.
Yeah, you're doing that. Those are your thoughts. I'm only sitting up here telling you, girl, in my industry, I made $1 million. A girl be like, girl, she ain't made no million. Well, I did something.
Mm-hmm.
But but interestingly enough, that very thing played a part in how we toured the show too, how we began touring the show. Because I remember her saying to me, "Well, Craig, we can't start the live shows here in Atlanta because the people in your city don't really check for you like that."
I told you that. I did say that to you. And
so it was a gamble doing the show.
Yeah, and we were very afraid. We were very afraid. And the very first time that we did the show, I was pleasantly surprised. We actually dropped the ticket sales low enough so that people would come out and we wouldn't have any loss or whatever. Just to test it out, because your own that won't support you. The first people to support you is somebody that don't look like you and ain't you.
Mm-hmm.
The first sets of people, when you start a new product line or you get a new business, the first thing that's gonna support you is something that don't look like you and ain't you.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I said Black women were my support system. You hear how you say Bevy Smith loved me?
Mm-hmm.
She loved me because she wasn't a gay and she wasn't a trans and she didn't have anything to be catty with me about or battle with me for. She's a cisgender woman. I'm a trans woman. We ain't battling over nothing. She loved me. The gays come in and like, oh girl, I'm a gay too. So why it ain't for me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got a bigger personality than you. I'm more funnier than you. I'm more entertaining than you. I'm more this than you. I'm this more than you. And it's just like, you got to stop worrying about what you're more than somebody else and really focus on what you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. When I walked in the door of this entertainment business, I walked in the door, put my phone on the thing, turned my computer on, and I talked to the people. I didn't talk about nobody else's business. I didn't care about what was going on. I gave my opinion on television shows and all that type of stuff. I reviewed food. I just came in the door being me. I wasn't trying to be like, well, girl, I'm the shit. I'm the one. Be like me. Now I can tell you, girls. Well, listen, I paved a lane for you, because anybody that gets social media popular, any trans woman that gets social media popular after TS, following in what TS, built openly for you, because it wasn't no girls really carrying on like that on the internet. That's why it was so strange. Anything that's new and extraordinary is extraordinary to those people. Oh, why is she doing that? Don't no lady act like that. Oh, no, you supposed to be like this. You're supposed to be like Miss Such and Such. Oh, Miss Such and Such would never be like this. No, Miss TS, this is who she is, and this is how she is. And this is me. Either you're gonna take me or you're not.
Now, so have you found you personally? I mean, I know you're successful now, but even in your success, have you found that TS and who you are and who people think that you are has held you back, or has it also fucked up with your thought process of who you are?
Well, I mean, a lot of people think, especially when you move forward and you elevate, because I do know that in elevation, you make changes to yourself, especially like I knew that I couldn't be running around with my clothes off anymore. And I knew that those days were done. When I saw kids chanting "New Weed 22 inches" or I knew, like when my catchphrases was going around and they were catchphrases with my clothes off, I knew that, all right, TS, you got to reinvent yourself. You got to reconstruct yourself, honey, and you got to let that go, because now you're moving into a different space. And when I moved into that different space, I was questioning myself like, well, because everybody goes after what's the next big hit for me? Like, what's the next viral video that I can make? What's the next video? And I wasn't really focused on that. I was like, okay, girl, I can't be walking around here naked with no clothes. Oh, bitch, I got to just put my clothes on, tell the people I'm done with the porno stuff, and just get on here and be talking. And every other video was going viral and stuff like that. Whatever, people were booking me for speaking and they wanted to interview me and then I started speaking out about rights and all this stuff. And so people laid the term activist and advocate and stuff on me, and I was like, well, that's not what I am, and that's really not what I came into business to be. So then I was like, am I an activist? I started saying to myself, am I an act? Thank you. Whoever making the drop over here, thank you, baby. Ooh. Thank you, Tafu. Thank you, boo. I was like, am I an activist? Am I these things? It started making me question, like, is this what I'm supposed to do? You know, because I would see that I would speak about things and it would get into a space where people were listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't really want to adopt that name, or I don't want to adopt that title, because then I'm going to be held.
It's a responsibility
To a different thing. And I'm always going to be loud, live, and in color T.S. Madison. That means I'm going to be vulgar. You may hear me say pussy ass dick and fuck ya. You may hear that type of stuff going, because that's a part of who I am. And I didn't want to lose me trying to be somebody else, you know, but I did know that there were things about me that I did have to clean up. And I moved over here into this whole situation when Craig and I met, and we were working on the show or whatever. And I started focusing. I was like, all right, so me and baby girl got a thing and got something, you know, we got something. So, you know, let me, you know, put my business hat on. And I told that person verbatim, hey, ma'am, I'm not going to be sitting up here talking about people like a dog or reading people for free. I know it was fun and games the first 2 shows we did, but by show 3, this needs to become a business. And I don't care what that individual says about me or whatever in any space. That shit wasn't a business until the TS business stamped that. And that's just what it is, whether a person wants to believe that or not. It was just somebody sitting around talking trash about someone, and it was like, nah, man. But this needs to become something that can be packaged and sold. So, you know, thinking caps went on. Craig came in with his ideas and this and the other or whatever, you know.
But that was also another example, like you were saying, like you knew that as you became more visible and these kids were using your catchphrases that you had to polish up a bit. That was another example of us realizing that the show had to polish up a bit because the viewership was insane.
It was insane. It was insane, but it also was garnering, which it was also garnering, you know, important places and important things, because people wasn't viewing it at the time as something that was really nasty and vile. They were looking at it as this is comedy banter.
Right. But as you started to set up sponsorship and stuff like that, we knew there were certain things that you just can't say when you're trying to solicit sponsors. You know what I'm saying? You can't be saying dyke and faggot and expect Tide or whomever to say, oh, here, we want to advertise on your show.
You know, and here's the thing. One thing I've come to understand in the situation that everybody ain't supposed to go with you everywhere you go. You know, and sometimes shit dissolves just because what it, because listen, it ain't hurt me none. You feel me? I know that sometimes the viewing audience may have seen, because maybe numbers have changed and all this stuff. I've always looked at things like this. A video can go viral at any moment. But a video can go viral with no monetization to it, so it means nothing. We're girls, Craig, and I know that your pronouns are he, him, and his, but when we're talking about this situation, we're girls that gets over to the monetization bracket.
Right.
We're going to get to that money.
The numbers may have changed in this space, but they got bigger over here in this space. Where it counts.
Well, let me speak to the activist side of you, Madison. Talk to me about how you feel about Delaware nominating their first transgenders to the Senate. Trans woman to the Senate.
Well, openly trans, let's say that.
Yeah, openly trans.
I feel like, honey, trans been going on for a long time. There's one or two of those girls in there that's a girl. It's like it's one or two of those white folks in there that's passing for white. That's one of us. I think it's a big thing. You know, those trans women are trailblazers for the girls that are coming up who want possibly to be involved in politics, because you know that was the thing that when I was. Let me tell you something, Derek. Everything that I'm doing now is a melting pot for all the things that I said that I wanted to be in life.
Mhm.
I remember growing up saying, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a TV star. I want to be like all these things. When I was growing up as a child, when the teacher would ask me what I want to do, I would say, and I end up looking at myself and looking at how I utilize my platform. I am all of those things.
Mhm.
I am a teacher. I'm an influencer. I am a doctor of healing the mentals of the sicknesses, or healing the hearts or wounds of people with laughter. I am a scientist, honey. I do break down things, honey. I am a mathematician. I am all of these things, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like what the vision that I saw for myself and who I am,
Mhm.
it came into a conveniently wrapped, interesting package, the way that it was. So, when I see those girls come, who they probably was at home watching, saying, I want to change the world. This against the law, or whatever. There was something in them feeling that, and they end up becoming, Congress people, senators, or whatever. They didn't let anything stop them, and I applaud all of those trans women. And I hope we get some more Black trans women to get up and pursue those positions.
Mhm. Madison, I want to say thank you for taking time out to talk with us and share your experience with us. Our next guest just popped in, and he on a time schedule.
Okay, y'all let me go. All right, y'all. Y'all listen. I'll be waiting on my check. Bye, Craig. I'll get it for Craig. Don't you worry about it.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, y'all.
Bye. So, hey, you guys. So I called up one of my really good friends, EJ King, to pop in here and have a conversation with us about his journey in the entertainment business as a wardrobe stylist. And he found some time. He literally found some time to make this happen. So we about to pop him up. See, I don't even know what he got going on. EJ.
Hi, y'all.
Hey, babe, how are you? Well, I know you out and about, and you taking some time, a little time for us to kind of jump into this conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I'm leaving this movie premiere, but I could not miss this, and so excuse me, y'all, for I'm just not in the perfect background and setting, but
it's okay. So EJ,
yes.
So quick story. I met EJ on Hair Bell Spectacular when I was a judge and mentor with Eva. Eva was the host. I was a judge and mentor, and I met EJ, and we had a relationship, and we've been cool ever since. But throughout these years, EJ, you have became your own personality. You came from behind the scenes, and now you're in front of the scenes. Yes. So I want to talk to you about that journey. Talk to you about the pressures of it, because when we met, you was double the size who you are now.
I was double.
So I want to know, did you feel the pressures of having to get to the person that you are? Did you do it because of the pressures of the industry, or is it something that you really want to do? And I'm sorry, I'm just jumping right into it, but I know you do. Yeah.
I never really felt pressure from the business. By the grace, I've always been kind of taken on and brought under somebody else's wing, and people always kind of want to be like, let's look out for EJ and let's do this. And even when it came down to styling, I did PR first, and then I started to do wardrobing, and even that process was a smooth transition into who I became, or who I today. And so and it's life, and I think we all go through our fair share of BS with any job we're in, but I've been lucky enough and blessed enough to be amongst great people that kind of help navigate who I am and who I wanted to be. So
did you ever feel the need to hide your sexuality, especially when you were on the bigger side of your life? Did you feel that you had to hide, that you had to be more masculine and butchered up because you didn't fit what the look of being a gay Black man was? Did you feel that pressure?
So for me, a lot of my identity stuff came via um, my youth. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I've always been me. I've always been this person. I've never, even when I dated girls, even when I was in high school, I did feel a certain sense of um, the urge to have to hide because I had an older brother and he was like this, all-American athlete and all the girls loved him. And so, I was the different one who I wanted to be that, but then I knew that it wasn't me. And so I did every sport. I played football, I played basketball, I played soccer and baseball. I played everything. And then I realized like, this isn't me. And so when I got into business at 17, um, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and she owned the company. Her name was Echo Haddix, and she was telling me like, you know, be you, love yourself, love who you are, and then because where I lived, just being open was so kind of like hush hush. Getting into Hollywood, it was more like I hope you gay, cause you ain't supposed to be your ass up in here with me, looking to change, So I was like, y'all want me to be gay? Oh, it was like, oh, great. And so, once I came out, I came out to my cousin, she's my therapist, my business manager. She's everything. And so I came out to her, and she told my mother, which I knew she would. And so my mother and them called me and was like, "We love you. You've always been EJ." And so, it nothing never changed. I think the comfort with me um, was more. It was more on me opposed to them. It was more like, oh, I'm glad you came to terms with it. I'm glad you are who you are. You're walking in your truth. And so doing that and having a straight brother and having a brother that was all American and all that kind of stuff, it kind of helped me shape what straight men were and who they were going to be, and the idea people were going to have on me, or the jokes, or the shit talking, or whatever it was going to be. I learned it early, so I learned how to adapt to what the quote unquote straight man, the idea of what that was going to be. And so it helps. It helped me a lot. It helped me tremendously because now I know how to deal. You out? Okay. I'm gonna text you. Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're the thing.
And
It
what
helped.
was your first job in entertainment, and how did you go about getting that job?
The first gig in entertainment was I was doing extra work on Dreamgirls. That's how I got my start. And
It was a movie.
met an AD, and she was like, "Hey, there's this dancing scene. There's this. Can you do the dancing scene?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then they were like, "We need you to do the riot scene." And then so she was like, "This will make you eligible. This will make you SAG eligible." And da da da. And I was like, "Well, I don't know what it is, but I'm down. Let's do it." And then from there, I got called to do Busta Rhymes video, and that was my determining factor to move to LA. I ended up I ended up getting fired from my job. I moved to LA like that Friday, and I've never turned around since. And one of my first big clients was Kevin Hart. Well, Tory Hart was my client, and I got to meet Kevin, and I got to see like, oh wow, this is what it is. But a lot of my career just happened to be word of mouth. It happened to be the right relationships. It happened to be making friends with people, and that's a lot of my career has been that. And so,
And for the people that are watching who have aspirations of wardrobe styling, and how did you know how to charge your clients? Like, because I'm sure you have an agent at this point, because typically that's how it will work, and they'll handle the money and that kind of thing. How do you figure out how to do that?
trial and error, because and you hungry, get out there, you're hungry, do anything. I went on tour for 2 months for like $2,500, and I was doing hair, makeup, and wardrobe. I was everything. But I would never change that experience because it taught me tour. It taught me how to live on the road. It taught me how to be around this world and this business. And so I never had an issue, and I've always been taught to pay your dues. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn it, intern, work under people. Don't be so fast to call yourself a celebrity stylist. Don't be so fast to give yourself this grand title, because the moment you don't live up to it, then it's a strike against you, and all you have is your name and your reputation. So, I've learned, like, don't rush the process. You know what I'm saying?
There's that word again.
You know, enjoy what that process is, and whatever field you're in. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the process, because the moment you give yourself that title of something that you're not, and you fall short, it's like it spread like wildfire. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky enough to learn the process as I went. I was able to learn through different people and watching different people. So I did. It was trial and error. And then, because before I had an agent or a manager, I would negotiate my own deals, but then I didn't want to be like, oh my God, is this too much? Is this too less? Da-da-da. And then I would meet people, and they'd be like I used to work with Atlantic Records, and Atlantic Records called me the golden ticket. They was like, shit, EJ can work anything on $5. And learning that it was a blessing and a curse, because they only wanted to call me for the $5 budgets, because I would work them, and then I would know other stylists. They were like, shit, we got this, that, and the other, and I was like, well, I'm not getting it. So then I had to learn. And it was a lot of learning. And to me, I rather got paid the $2,000 and got the experience, opposed to try to hit somebody over the head off the top and not know what I'm doing. You know, sometimes the longevity is better than the upfront fast money. And so I built the relationship. So then it became a long thing. It became a longevity. It became something that helped change my life and took me from doing this to that. And so I have no regrets in that, you know. But today, you know, you want to know your worth. You want to know what you bring to the table. You want to know everything that you can do in your power to make sure that your brand, your name, and everything is solid.
Well, now I do know that you've styled many of people and created many looks, some eye-catching and looks that people are copying down to this day. But what gave you the confidence to know that you can do these things? To say, you know, I got this, I can handle this, I can make this happen.
You know what? When you are hungry and you are eager in the beginning, there's nothing that you feel like you can't do, you know? And I was just telling my manager, because now that I'm in the space of stepping away from styling and getting more into becoming my own brand and doing more television and creating and doing more of the background stuff, as far as creating a showroom, creating a style house for younger stylists and stuff like that. Like, I've learned now that it's okay to understand that dreams may change. You know, like so there was nothing I wouldn't do to make like this work. You know, so as you gain success, that hunger kind of dwindles away, and you stop. Your creativity kind of gets lost in the hype of, well, shit, I can pull from this store, I can do this, and so for me, I was like, you want to keep that person, you want to keep that very hungry person in the beginning that you were, along with the successful person, and blend the world, and that's what people love. And so I've always had the confidence. I dressed my mom, I've always dressed my friends, I've always did styling, I just never did it for celebrities. I've always loved playing dress up for people. And so my goal was to become, I was like, I'm gonna be the best stylist, I'm gonna be dope, I'm gonna be in the business, I'm gonna be this and that. And so I've had moments throughout my life and career that I was like, damn, I really obtained who I set out to be. And so the feeling of starting over that I have now, it is a very nervous feeling, and it's a feeling of slight anxiety, because it's like, damn, I know it, but I know it from this standpoint. I don't know it from this standpoint. And so I got to tap back into that person that I was at 17 and just say, by any means necessary, this is going to be the new wave. And so that's pretty much it. You have to have the confidence in yourself. You have to have the faith in yourself. You got to be okay with stepping out, you know, and I've learned through each client that I've had that maybe for me, I feel like when it's time to go, I'm forced out, you know, because I've learned to just deal with things for financial reasons. So I've learned to just put up with a bunch of stupid shit because the money was great, you know, but everything in my body was like, I hate this. I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to be here. I don't want to work with them. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And literally through each kind of phase, I kind of had to get the force, like, go, you know. And I've learned that process. I learned to trust what that was. I learned to understand that everything don't last forever. Everything in life has an expiration date. I don't care how good it is. I don't care how shiny and new it feels. Everything must come to an end, and you must be able to turn the page to what's next and be comfortable with that. And for me, there's some people that I know in my life that are great stylists, and they are older than me, and they be killing it, and they're going to forever be creatives through wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
My fashion journey or my styling journey is a stepping stone for what I want to do next, because this is what got me in the door, you know. And not to say that I do now, because I definitely will have people that I still keep working with, but I don't know if my passion is in it that much to keep it in the focal. And so,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's 14 years later, and
And you still standing, baby.
and I'm like, you know, I've done award shows and I've done a lot of amazing things and I've been a part of amazing things. And, you know, I commend a lot of my stylist friends who got multiple clients. At a certain part of my career, I just wanted to work with one dope person and build and build. And that was my own naive way of thinking, like, shit, we can rock forever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The phase, like, damn, this is the problem of having
Mm-hmm.
putting all your eggs in one basket and not having multiple things going on. So, it's just a learning process. I'm 34 and I'm still learning, but I'm also a lot more aware of what it is that I'm doing and want to do. And I'm aware of situations that go left and be okay with the ending of a chapter, you know? With
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I know, Derek, I've been knowing you for so long. This isn't the person that I've grown so much since the first time we met,
Yes,
you know?
you have. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you've done, where you went to, and even and the transformation, because you became the person that you want to be, and doing the things that you wanted, that you
Yeah.
want to do. And you're doing things you want to do. But I know are you at that thing, and I want to thank. I just want to tell you thank you.
They fine. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to just tell people, you know what I'm saying? Find it in yourself. You know, whatever it is. Like, I believe in changing what you don't like, change what makes you sad, change what, you know, put you in the place of depression. Like, when I was
Mm-hmm.
heavier, like, I always knew who I wanted to be on the inside, but I was just heavier on the outside. And I went through this whole journey with weight loss. And then I went through
Mm-hmm.
my identity, you know, finding who I was, what I liked, why I did certain things. Um, and the business did create that type of pressure, because
Mm-hmm.
my insecurities weren't on display when I just was regular old EJ, you know? And so I
Mm-hmm.
see myself played back on TV or on pictures or standing next to people. You know, your imperfections kind of pop out at you, and you kind of start to feel
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, I don't like this, I don't like that. And so it's all part of growth and transformation in life. And so, but it's finding people like you, like Derek Jace has been the same person from then to now, through success, through everything that you have. I look at people like you and say, you can be successful and still be a humble person. You can be successful and still be a loving person. You can be successful and not hate on the next person succeeding. You know what I'm saying? I look at a lot of people that are like, shit, I could be looking like, damn, why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? And I'm like, no, I'm happy. I call all my friends anytime I see something that they have accomplished or got or bought. I hit them like, yo, that's dope, you know? Because your success don't stop my success, don't stop my happiness, don't stop my life. So I can root you on and be just as happy for you and for me, because I'm okay with the process and the timing of when things are supposed to happen.
That's the part that's missing in our industry. That's the
Yeah,
part that's missing in the community. That's a
yeah,
part of that's just missing as just black gay, well, black LGBTQ
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that support that we should have. They come out to those things.
it's sad. It's sad. It's sad in our own community. It's sad in the Black community. It's sad that we can look at all of these, different races that support each other, that buy into a business, that buy into themselves, that help each other up, and we're the only ones that can look at somebody and tear them down instantly without knowing any backstory, without knowing anything that they're going through, what they could have been going through. Like, we're so quick to tear down or diminish or downplay somebody's success. Everybody got to be a crook, a scammer, a thief, or that.
Mm-hmm.
People out here that really have obtained their stuff on just their hard work and their merit. And so I just think that I wish, as a community, even as the LGBT community, I just wish that we do better at supporting each other. We do better as Black people supporting each other. We do better at banding together and saying enough is enough. I rock with you. I support you, because look at all these other people building each other up and building $1 million businesses and corporations. And it's you take your ego out of it and say, shit, if Derek J obtained $1 million, I want to know how Derek got it. I don't want to talk.
I want to know too. Shit.
I don't want to downplay you. I don't want to down talk you. I want to ask you, damn, what was the formula? How'd you get there? And that's the problem, is we're so afraid to say how we did it. Like it's a secret. Like if you made $1 million, I can't make $1 million. It's like, no, that's why it's called millionaires. Like let's share the secret of success if we have it, and what that is. And so I'm very honest. I'm very humble. I'm very open. I'm very 100 about everything that I am and that I do. And I can't get caught up in the hype, because what people don't know that we know about this business is I know so many famous, rich people. I know so many of them that are depressed and that are on the verge of suicide. They can have everything, every car, every house, every this, every bag, and it still doesn't fulfill your happiness. It still doesn't fulfill who you are. So finding your own foundation of happiness would then grow it to a whole nother level. Like, I don't want everything and be so bitter and hateful and anger inside. I don't want that. So I just learn to live and be happy and take each chapter of my life as it comes. And that's it.
And that's the best. And that is the best advice that we can have, because that's all you can do is just do you and be you and do it the best way you can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, EJ. We had to end our show, child. And so we had an hour and a half, honey, with these people. I'm going to call you when I get off here. Okay, babe?
Thank you. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to text you. I leave tomorrow, but I'm back, and we're going to talk, because I think I'm going to move to LA. So let's chop it on.
Oh, yeah. Let's chop it up, baby. Thank you so much again, love.
Love y'all.
Love you.
Bye-bye. You know what? Let me let y'all know something. First of all, Lady Junebug, and those of you that are saying that I'm not paying attention, I can't win for losing. Sometimes y'all say I talk too much, and then when I'm talking, I'm listening, and I'm letting Derek ask most of the questions. Then you say I'm asleep, I'm high, I need something, I need an edible, I need a carrot dog, I'm missing Carlton. Like, girl, you should be paying attention to the guests.
That was we had 3 great guests that share great information and great stories with us. We appreciate that. So listen, you guys, we did something special for you.
Yes, we did.
We made some things happen.
We did.
We gonna come back next week.
Now, you know we usually come every other week,
but we're gonna be back next week for a very special show for you guys, because you asked for it. And it is, bam, Threesomes and Open Relationships Part 2.
Now listen, we're gonna just go with the people that we had from before, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring their partners on. So remember how we had those individuals and they were telling their stories? Where they're gonna bring their partners on and they're gonna talk. Yeah, they're gonna talk about this at length.
Yes. So we're excited about that, and we will see you guys
a week from today. Make sure you subscribe to our respective channels. Yes. Please subscribe to this or like this video
and share and
all those good things. Because yes, we are definitely trying to take this to television or some streaming service, Apple Podcasts, Netflix, Amazon Prime, somebody, iHeartRadio,
Peacock.
Oh yeah, I heard about them.
That's NBC.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Bravo.
Right.
But yeah, but if you want to support us and what we're doing, because we only have 2 more. No, is it this?
After this,
So the one next week, and we have 2 after that.
Yes. And then we take a break.
And then we're going to take a break, and we'll take a break until February, but
Yes.
we'll announce that later, and because we already know what we're going to come back. But if you want to support us, the Cash Apps are here. Derek J. Hare and the writer. We do appreciate your support. This shit costs money.
Yes, it does.
And yeah, I am tired because I took my baby to the airport this morning, and then I had to film today, and then I came here. So yes, I am tired. But look, there's a promo going on over at CraigWriterStewart.com. It's 30% off on books. It's 45% off on merch, whether you get a hoodie.
So 30% of $5, that's like,
excuse me, the books are 20 and 25.
Oh, okay.
So it's 30% off books, 45% off merch, and it's 30% off greeting cards at sayitinaCard.com. But if you go over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com and you purchase books or merchandise, the promo code is BUYBLACK. BUYBLACK, Buy Black. All right. The promo is going to end. This is my early Black Friday gift to you guys. I appreciate you guys supporting what we do.
Yes,
and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Bye.